Hi, my name's Cari. I'm a 22-year-old detransition woman. I was a pediatric transitioner, so I started medical transition when I was underage, and I stopped transitioning nearly a year ago. And for me, detransition involves, a lot of thought and a lot of unlearning of what I understood about myself. When I was transitioning, I felt a lot of very intense body dysphoria. That felt very innate and very integral at the time to the way I perceived myself in the world. And what I came to realize eventually was that this was not the case, that there were all these factors that played into my dysphoria, dissociation and feelings of inferiority for being female, and depression, body dysmorphia, all of these things contributing to this kind of general sense of alienation, sense of otherness from the people around me, and specifically from other women. So detransition for me was about firstly discovering and acknowledging that my dysphoria had these causes, that it wasn't, just some innate identity, basically that it was a maladaptive coping mechanism for me. It was about really decoupling my sense of self from my body, from the way that my body was perceived in society. And it was also about really learning to identify and stop the kind of obsessive thought patterns that come with dysphoria. So when I was transitioning, every step of transition really felt like this huge high of relief from dysphoria, but sooner or later, it would come back in another form. So, once I was on testosterone, I wanted to change my name. Once I changed my name, I wanted a mastectomy. Once I had a mastectomy, I wanted a hysterectomy, bottom surgery, so on and so forth. This is a really common topic in trans circles, shifting dysphoria, and at some point I realized that wasn't going to stop. I could keep going and changing my body in search of this, finishing point, but I don't think I ever would have arrived. Transition didn't really make my dysphoria better. It just kind of kept moving the goalposts. So I felt like I was making progress, but I never really got any closer to where I wanted to be or where I thought I wanted to be. So here's what I want therapists to know and to be cautious about. I was enthusiastic about transitioning. I fit the criteria for gender dysphoria. I sought out a therapist by myself. I convinced my therapist, or my parents rather, that I was ready for hormones when I was 17. And I think the prospect of completely changing your body, your life, your identity, is very compelling to a teenager who's just learning to cope with mental health issues, with trauma, with gender nonconformance, with being a lesbian. And that's especially true when the current rhetoric around transition really discourages any kind of questioning, really frames transition or trans identity as the solution to any kind of gender issues or gender confusion. And I think it's really important for therapists not to frame transition as the only solution, to really present options, and encourage people not to take their feelings and urges entirely at face value, to be critical, to really think about where those thoughts are coming from. So thank you for your time.